This is Cindy again from Cindy's Library, and today I want to talk about Anne Bronte, or rather her books. So, I forget exactly when we started, but last December, Craftlit ended listening to The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte, and I have already finished my first classic of the year, Agnes Gray, also by Anne Bronte. And so I would like to talk about these two books today. So we'll start with The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Even though it was the second book written, it was the first book that I read, or at least listened to, by Anne Bronte. And it is a very good book. I can understand why Heather at Craftlit would call it a manual every girl should read about men. That doesn't mean it is enjoyable. And it's a lot of that has to do with the subject matter. But how to describe it? Well, it is a series of letters between Gilbert Markham and an old friend telling about how he met his wife, Helen. And it all starts when a widow moves into Gilbert's neighborhood, and she's rather standoffish. She keeps rather aloof, although she does develop a friendship with Gilbert himself, to the point where it gets to the point where he needs to know her backstory and understand where she is coming from. And so she gives him her diary that explains everything. And lots of entries from this diary are also included in this correspondence. So the first part of the book is the mystery of who is Helen really? Because nobody in this small town that she's come to really knows anything about her. And like I said, it comes to a head, and through her diary, we see exactly how she has gotten to the place where she is. She started out a bright young thing, great prospects, a smart, beautiful young lady who wants a bit of romance in her life. Her aunt wants her to marry this old my lord, and it's true enough, he certainly has the position, the wealth, the rank, etc., and he is clearly safe. That's not what Helen wants at that point, so she chooses Arthur Huntington. As far as worldly means goes, he can care for a family well enough. Yes, we'll say that. But it quickly becomes apparent that he has major character flaws that impact their marriage. And when they start impacting their son, well, Helen has enough and leaves. But there are some scenes that are very hard to read during that part. And it is a very sad thing that legally there was nothing Helen could do. She had no rights for her son, not even any rights for herself. If Arthur Huntington came after her, legally he would have every right to bring her back, in spite of the awful situation that he created. So that explains exactly why Helen has been so standoffish in her new town. Well, I will say that Tenant of Wildfell Hall does end well. I won't spoil anything besides saying that. And there are some excellent parts, and it makes excellent points. But like I said, there are some parts that are rather hard reading. Arthur Huntington, I'm afraid, has few inhibitions and little shame, and there's not a lot that he won't do, especially when his friends are there who encourage him in this type of behavior. So, this is a book I am very glad I have read. It is excellent. It's not going to be a favorite, though, of mine for that reason. It's kind of like Grave of the Fireflies once. Excellent story, very well told. Glad I saw it. Not sure I can ever see it ever again. Agnes Gray is a completely different story. It is the story of a young woman. She is the second daughter of two daughters, a rather poor clergyman. And after some financial setbacks, which I don't need to go into, the family is in some pretty hard straits. So Agnes Gray decides that what she can do is support herself as a governess. And if nothing else, at least she won't be a burden to her family, and if she is fortunate, she'll be able to save something to help her family with. And we see her in three different positions. The first one is with younger children, 7 on down. So they are basically just starting out on their educational experience. And it doesn't go well. The children are impossible. The parents have high expectations but give Agnes no authority whatsoever. The children therefore have little incentive to do what she says or to learn. That one ends rather disastrously. The second one is better, partially because the students are older. I think when she gets there, the oldest daughter is 16 or something like that. There are 2 sons at the bottom, but they are soon sent off to school, so she is left with the 2 daughters, who are the older 2. So, being older, they're a little bit more manageable. These parents are a bit more hands-on in some ways, which is good, and she actually makes a connection with the oldest daughter, a real connection, which is good. And at the second place, she also, well, let's just say she admires the new curate. Of course, after this, sadly, her father dies. Her sister by this time has married, which is well enough, but others decided to start a school, and so Agnes decides to leave her position and help teach at her mother's school. And in many ways, that is probably the easiest one for her. She's working with her mother who cares for her. They don't have the parents necessarily always hanging over their shoulder. And so, yeah, that was a pretty good teaching experience for her overall, I would say. In any case, one might consider it a slight book, and certainly it is as far as length, but is an excellent depiction of a governess's life. They live in this in-between world. Most governesses, from what I understand, came from they they came from respectable backgrounds. Their fathers tended to be clergy or perhaps doctors or lawyers or things like that. But they were under the necessity of working, which wasn't very looked upon with favor for women at all, and especially not for the upper classes. And yet, as a governess, they don't belong to the servants class either. Technically, as far as rank goes, a governess might be above a housekeeper even, but they wouldn't socialize. So governessing could be rather lonely socially, in addition to challenges with parents and with children. Sound familiar to anyone in the educational field these days? I guess in some ways things haven't changed overly much, but quite enjoyable. And Bronte is an excellent authoress. It's a pity she only had the chance to write her 2 novels and some poetry. But Agnes Gray is one I would definitely read again, so it will be going on my shelf. I can definitely recommend Agnes Gray if anyone is interested in trying some Bronte. Tenant of Wildfell Hall is the better book, but also the more difficult book as far as subject matter, so you'll have to determine how you feel about that. That I'm definitely better for having read both of these books. It's helped me understand a governess's position better and women's position generally in the mid-Victorian era. Anyway, those are my thoughts about Tenant of Wildfell Hall and Agnes Gray by Anne Bronte. Thank you for joining me today. If you have any comments, if you've read these books and would like to share what you think, I'd love to hear about it. And until next time, I hope we all stay safe and healthy, and as always, happy reading.